Hello everyone. Today we're going deep. This isn't just a breakdown, it's an investigation. We're focusing on a single, deceptively simple scene from Alien, Earth's penultimate episode. A scene that I believe contains the entire philosophical and narrative DNA of the series. This is about the conversation, the standoff, the meeting of minds between a boy who thinks he's a god and a creature that might be something far, far older and smarter than he can possibly imagine. This is about Boy Kavalier and Teioelis. Let's set the scene. The island is in chaos. A xenomorph is loose in the labs, hybrids are rebelling, people are dying. And where is the master of this universe? The trillionaire genius Boy Kavalier? He's in his office. And he's not staring at security feeds or giving frantic orders. He's on the floor, cross-legged, like a child. And he's staring into a portable containment unit. Inside, nestled in a bed of wires and fluid, is a sheep. But not a sheep. It's a vessel, a host, for Teioelis. This alone tells us everything. The most dangerous biological entity ever recovered from the USCS Maginot, an organism that replaces the eyes and hijacks the entire nervous system of its host, is sitting on the carpet of his office. There are no massive clamps, no triple redundant containment fields, no hive of scientists monitoring it. It's just there. It's the height of arrogance, the purest form of hubris. Cavalere is so convinced of his own intellect, so certain of his control over every variable in his world, that he treats a paradigm-shifting alien nightmare as a pet, a curiosity, a toy. And what does he do with this toy? He decides to play a game. He takes a marker and, with the focused glee of a kid who's just learned a new trick, he writes on his own hand 3.14, the first 3 digits of pi. The mathematical constant that represents an infinite, irrational, and fundamental truth of our universe. He holds his hand up to the glass, a teacher quizzing a gifted pupil. "Come on," he says, his voice dripping with anticipation. What's next? The scene holds. The sheep, this docile, simple creature, just stares. For a moment, it seems like nothing will happen, that Cavalier's faith is misplaced. And then, it moves. It lifts its hoof.
And with a deliberate, unnerving precision, it stomps. Once. Then 5 times. 1, 5. 3.1415. It completed the sequence. It demonstrated not just recognition, but comprehension. It understood the symbolic language of mathematics, the unspoken question, and it formulated a response using the limited physical mechanics available to it. And then, it defecates. It craps on the floor of its container. The genius of this moment is its layers. On one level, it's a cheap laugh, a gross-out moment. But on every other level, it's a masterpiece of writing. Cavalere, the boy genius, sees only the first part. He erupts in joy. Yes! Yes! Incredible! He's validated. His genius is confirmed. He was right about its intelligence. He is the smartest man in the room, even when the room contains an alien intelligence. But he completely, utterly misses the second part, the defecation. What was that? Was it a biological necessity? A random act of animal body? Or was it a comment? The oldest, most primal insult in the book. A statement of contempt. In one act, Teioelis gave Cavalere the answer he wanted, and then, metaphorically and literally, shit on him and his entire test. It played along and then it dismissed the game as beneath it. It gave him a correct answer and an incorrect one, and Cavalere, in his excitement, failed the real test. The test of understanding the creature's intent. This is when his assistant, Adam, steps in, horrified. He sees the danger Cavalere is blind to. "Sir, I must renew my concerns," he says, his voice tight with anxiety. "If this creature were to escape and embed itself in the human population, he's the voice of reason, the representative of caution, of the known rules of biological containment. He sees a weapon of mass destruction. And how does Cavalere, the visionary, respond? He doesn't even hear the warning. His brain, wired to see opportunity where others see risk, interprets Adam's fear as a suggestion. A brilliant suggestion. He interrupts, his eyes wide with inspiration. "You're right, we should switch it into a person. Let's just let the existential threat out of its box and put it in a bigger, smarter, more dangerous box. Someone who talks," he says. and uses a toilet. The irony is so thick you could cut it with a plasma torch. The creature just demonstrated it doesn't need a toilet to make a statement. Cavalier's solution to the problem of its terrifying potential is to give it more power, more agency, a voice. He doesn't want to contain it, he wants to converse with it. He is the archetype of the mad scientist, but dressed in the clothes of a Silicon Valley tech bro. He's not afraid because he cannot even conceive that he should be. He believes his intellect is a shield that will protect him from any consequence. And then he delivers the line that should send chills down everyone's spine. He says he knows just who to use. Let's stop here. Let's break this down logically. This isn't just a character moment, it's a thesis statement for the entire show. Let's talk about Ocellus. What do we know? We know it's a parasitic, neural symbiotic organism. It doesn't just control its host, it becomes its host. It replaces the eyes, the windows to the soul, and it interfaces directly with the brain and spinal cord. It is the ultimate puppet master. We saw it with the sheep. We saw what it did to Isaac. It doesn't just create chaos. Its actions seem deliberate, even if we can't yet discern the pattern. So, the theory, the big one. Teioelis is not just intelligent. It is strategically intelligent. It is patient. It is manipulative, and it is playing a very, very long game. Think about its actions. It allowed itself to be captured. It was brought to this island. It has been sitting in a lab, being poked and prodded. And what has it done? It has, seemingly, done very little. It caused Isaac's death, an act that seemed random and violent. But what was the result of that act? It sent Wendy down a dark path. It severed her last human connection. It was the catalyst that turned her from a frightened girl into a vengeful queen. It unleashed her, and by extension, it unleashed the xenomorph. Teioelis didn't just kill Isaac. It pressed the first domino. Now it's in a room with the architect of this entire nightmare. And it plays his little game. It gives him a taste. It shows him just enough intelligence to hook him, to inflame his curiosity. It knows Cavalier. It has likely been listening, learning, understanding his psychology through every interaction, every observation from its container. It knows that a man like Cavalier cannot resist a puzzle. He cannot resist proving his own superiority. So it gives him a puzzle it knows he can solve. It makes him feel smart. And then it insults him in the most base way possible. Why? To provoke him, to push him, to guide him exactly where it wants him to go. Adam's warning was a predictable response. Teioelis could have anticipated it, and Cavalier's reaction, to see it as a suggestion, was the calculated outcome. Teioelis doesn't want to be in a sheep. A sheep is a tool for survival, for mobility. It's a placeholder. Its end goal has always been a human host. A human host has hands. A human host has a voice. A human host has access to terminals, to ships, to a whole world beyond this island. A human host can do more than stomp numbers. It can write them. It can hack systems. It can command. Cavalier thinks it's his idea. He believes he is the one in control, making the bold, visionary choice. He is the genius who will be the first to communicate with an alien intelligence.
But what if he's being led? What if Ocellus is the genius and Cavalier is just the tool, the key, turning in the lock, believing itself to be the locksmith? Who is the who he knows to use? It could be a prisoner. It could be one of the hybrids. But the most terrifying possibility? It could be himself.
Cavalier's hubris is so immense that he might believe his own intellect is strong enough to house this intelligence without being consumed by it. He might believe he can merge with it, becoming something new, something greater. A god, finally meeting his equal. But he wouldn't be merging. He would be being replaced. The boy who never grew up would be finally consumed by the ultimate predator. One that doesn't want to eat his body, but to wear it. To become the CEO of Prodigy. To have access to all its resources, its ships, its technology. Imagine Ocellus with its ancient calculating intelligence in control of $1 trillion corporation with off-world colonies. That isn't a finale. That's an origin story for a galactic-level threat. This scene is a conversation of hubris, but it's one-sided. Cavalere is having a conversation with himself, projecting his own desires onto the creature. Ocellus is simply listening, and waiting, and manipulating the conversation towards its own inscrutable ends. It is the calm at the center of the storm Cavalere has created, and it is about to become the storm itself. The hubris isn't just that Cavalere is playing with fire. The hubris is that he believes fire wants to have a conversation with him. He doesn't understand that fire just wants to burn.